Have you ever seen this in lab? Someone take it away from me. If your answer was yes, then that means either you or your lab partner is a Jordan Feigin, and you need to watch this lab safety video. Do not begin any lab procedures until you are wearing the proper safety attire, including goggles and aprons and other necessary safety equipment. Closed-toed shoes must be worn at all times during the lab, or any shoes for that matter. Do not wear loose or baggy clothing in the lab, especially around an open flame. It is important to keep all sleeves rolled up and long hair tied back. There is no eating or drinking in the lab area. Do not use lab equipment as cups or plates at any time. Do not smell, eat, or drink anything from the lab without your teacher's permission. It is important to read all directions carefully and follow them. Do not mix any unknown chemicals. It is important to properly label all chemicals used during a lab. If you or your lab partner should try to mix unknown chemicals at any time, it is important to stop immediately. Doing such could create potential danger for you and your fellow classmates. Do not attempt to show off your skills by hurdling stools whilst carrying a beaker. You must keep the floor and lab area clean at all times. Lab is not the time for attempting cool stunts. Do not attempt to play practical jokes on or attack fellow students in the lab area. There are numerous dangers that can arise from participating in such activities. Do not fill distilled water wash bottles with water from water bottles or sinks. It is important to only fill the bottles with distilled water in order to make sure your experiments are accurate. Unpure substances in the water could greatly affect your results in an experiment. And do not flick water bottles across the classroom. Lab is not the time to spray fellow classmates with water. Do not use distilled water to attack other students unsuspectedly. Make sure to use all lab materials for their proper use. Be patient in the lab. Although it might get boring standing and waiting for something to happen, it is not the time to begin throwing things across the lab, such as tennis balls or lab materials. The lab area is no place for wall ball. Seriously, do not play with the distilled water. It is not a toy used to make steam on the hot plate. Accidents happen. If glassware should break during the lab, do not hide it in the sink.
What happened?
Instead, alert your teacher and dispose of the glass properly in a glass disposal box. Do not leave a lit Bunsen burner unattended. It is important to always closely watch your flame during the lab. Make sure that when you are finished using the Bunsen burner, you turn the gas valves off. No horseplay in the lab. In high school chemistry class, this should be rather obvious, but some students need reminding frequently. Please try your best to control your lab partner and to be on your own best behavior. Before starting a lab, make sure you complete any pre-lab activities. Do not attempt to eat a student's pre-lab. Or their actual lab. And should you feel the need to eat it, do not spit it out on the table.
Jordan, would you mind cleaning this for me? Make sure you're sure.
When you are finished using a piece of lab equipment, make sure you properly clean it and return it to its proper place. Do not leave your lab partner unattended in the middle of a lab. Do not attempt to leave the lab area during the lab. Do not jump down the stairs during the lab or any part of the day. Do not attempt to escape the building during a lab. Please return your lab partner safely to the lab area, in case for some reason you should need his help during the lab. Do not give your lab partners that are returning you a hard time. Once returned to the lab area, stay in the lab area.
Where's the perfect throw? Here you go. Yeah, come here.
Lab is not the time to do tricks. Do not attempt to jump on the tables, even if you know you can do it. Do not attempt unauthorized experiments while the teacher is not looking or without the teacher's permission. Do not play with the hoses. Should you ignore that and play with the hoses, please clean up the mess immediately. Do not leave or let your lab partner leave the lab area before everything is cleaned up. Should they try to escape without cleaning up, please return them immediately and make them help. Clean up all spills, clean all glassware, and return materials to their proper places before leaving the lab. You know what? It's just best under any circumstances, if you see a man that looks like this, just keep them out of the lab area at all costs. They are a hazard to anyone else in the lab area. If you or your lab partner is a Jordan Feigin, stay out of the lab.
Zachary's off camera like laughing as like the credits are rolling by.
Yes, that's the plan.
Oh my god.
Good going back to do the can. Because he's gonna stop you. I know. Just go.
Did I get delivered here? Somebody tell me, please. This whole world's confusing me.
Let's redo that. He just handed you.
Clean as you've ever seen. Ain't a bird who knows your truth. Then a little voice inside you whispers, don't say nothing so soon. Everywhere you look, there's a heart, a hand to hold on to. Everywhere
No horse playing live.
somebody who needs you. Everywhere you look, when you're lost out there and you're all alone, life is waiting to carry you home. Everywhere you live, everywhere you look, you might find out.
Please, our student faculty variety show is tomorrow at 7 p.m.
That's why he doesn't know.
It's so funny.
Oh, that's safety video.
Good now, are you satisfied?
No, but we should do more. You don't have a long, nice quality video. Let's see.
What else can you destroy?
Oh my god. Blooper reel. She's still going to do this. What happened? Oh, don't worry, it was only at the most. Now to dispose of this properly.
Or just get in our video, Dan. That's cool. Oh my god. Yeah, that's it. That's exactly what we're doing. Don't. Oh my god. Oh, yes. Her exact words were, "You're not going to do anything dangerous, right?"
Did you clean it? Yes.
Oh, what are you doing there?
I'll get last year. And that was What Not to Do in Lab with Jordan Feigin.